So, Bill Burr, the comedian who's basically like your grumpy uncle after one too many beers, recently went off. And when I say went off, I mean he absolutely unleashed. If you've ever seen Bill perform, you know he doesn't hold back. He's the guy who says what everyone else is too polite to even whisper at Thanksgiving dinner. His comedy is raw, honest, and just a little bit dangerous, like he's daring you to disagree. And, his target this time? Politicians and the super rich. You know, the people who always seem to be making decisions for the rest of us while living in a completely different universe. Bill zeroed in on them with the precision of a heat-seeking missile, calling out their hypocrisy and privilege in a way only he can. Picture a verbal hurricane, except instead of rain, it's just F-bombs and truth bombs flying everywhere. The crowd was loving it. Some were shocked, some were howling with laughter, but nobody could look away. It was like watching a roast, a therapy session, and a TED Talk all rolled into one. So, what set him off this time? Well, Karoline Leavitt, a former Trump official, decided to stand up for billionaires. She went on TV and basically said these billionaires are just misunderstood hard workers, as if they're out there grinding like the rest of us. You know those folks who could buy and sell entire countries? Yeah, she thinks they just work hard. Bill couldn't let that slide. He tore into the idea that billionaires are just regular folks who put in a little extra overtime. He pointed out the absurdity of defending people who have more money than some small nations, all while the rest of us are just trying to pay rent. Bill wasn't having any of it. His rants are kind of like therapy, except you laugh instead of cry. He channels all that frustration we feel about the unfairness of it all and turns it into comedy gold. It's cathartic, honestly, like he's venting for all of us. He says what we're all thinking, but with better timing and, a Boston accent. There's something about the way he delivers his lines, sharp, quick, and with that signature Burr sarcasm, that makes it all hit even harder. This time, he tackled wealth inequality, and honestly, it was glorious. He didn't just make people laugh, he made them think. That's the magic of Bill Burr. He turns outrage into entertainment, and somehow you walk away feeling a little lighter, even if the world's problems are still there. Karoline, sweetie, bless your heart. Defending billionaires? That's like defending Voldemort. I mean, sure, some people get rich through hard work and good ideas. But billions? That's a whole other level. Imagine playing Monopoly, but one person starts with all the properties and gets to change the rules whenever they want. That's being a billionaire, folks. It's not just about working hard. It's about loopholes, tax breaks, and a system that's totally rigged in their favor. Bill gets this. He knows most billionaires didn't get there by selling lemonade. They got there by, exploiting workers, dodging taxes, and influencing laws to benefit themselves. Sorry, Karoline, but even the Tooth Fairy knows that story's a fairy tale. America, land of opportunity. That's the story we're told from the time we're kids. The place where anyone, no matter where they start, can make it big if they just work hard enough. The American dream, right? It's the promise that draws people from all over the world, hoping for a better life. Unless, of course, you're born poor. For millions, that dream feels more like a distant fantasy. If you start out with nothing, the climb is steeper, the obstacles bigger, and the safety nets, they're full of holes. Then it's more like land of, you're stuck here, buddy. It's not just about working hard. It's about fighting against a system that seems rigged from the start. Every day feels like running on a treadmill that never stops. We're always told to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But what if you can't even afford boots? What if you're patching up the same pair year after year, just hoping they'll last through another season? Millions of Americans work their butts off but still can't make ends meet. They're the working poor, folks who clock in and out, sometimes juggling 2 or 3 jobs, yet somehow still struggle to put food on the table, pay the rent, or cover a medical bill. They're the backbone of the country, but their hard work barely keeps them afloat. Meanwhile, billionaires are launching themselves into space for fun. While some families worry about groceries, others are literally leaving the planet just because they can. The gap between rich and poor isn't just wide, it's astronomical. This is the America Bill Burr sees, a country where hard work doesn't guarantee a decent life. where the so-called dream feels broken for so many, and the reality is a daily grind with no finish line in sight. Where CEOs make 350 times more than their employees, and somehow that's considered the market and not a crime against humanity. The system rewards the few at the top, while millions at the bottom are left to wonder if the dream was ever real at all. Politicians, those magical creatures who promise you the world but somehow always manage to deliver more problems. They're like expert illusionists, dazzling us with big words and bigger promises. But when the curtain falls, we're left wondering where all the magic went, and why our wallets feel lighter. They just love to wrap themselves in the flag and talk about patriotism, as if standing next to a flagpole automatically makes them heroes. You'll see them at every parade, every barbecue, every photo op, acting like they invented the concept of loving your country. But you know, real patriotism? That's not just about waving a flag or singing the anthem. Real patriotism is fighting for all Americans, not just the ones lining their pockets or writing the biggest campaign checks. It's about making sure everyone gets a fair shot, not just the folks in the VIP section. They'll kiss babies, shake hands, and promise tax cuts for the middle class with a smile so wide you'd think they just won the lottery. They'll tell you they're just like you, that they understand your struggles, and that help is on the way, just as soon as you vote for them. Then, of course, they'll turn around and give those tax cuts to corporations who don't even pay taxes. It's like a magic trick. Now you see your money, now it's in someone else's offshore account. The middle class gets the promises. The corporations get the cash. It's honestly like watching a magic show, but instead of a rabbit, they pull out your wallet. The sleight of hand is impressive. One minute they're talking about helping you, the next, your paychecks disappeared. And the applause? That's just the sound of lobbyists clapping. Bill sees through the smoke and mirrors. He's not fooled by the fancy speeches or the patriotic backdrops. He calls it like it is, pointing out the tricks and the traps that politicians use to keep us distracted. He knows most politicians are more interested in staying in power than actually helping people. Their real talent isn't leadership, it's survival. They'll say whatever it takes, make deals in back rooms, and change their tune faster than a jukebox at closing time. They'll preach about family values while dismantling social safety nets, smiling for the cameras as they cut programs that help the most vulnerable. It's a performance worthy of an Oscar. If only the stakes weren't so high for real families. It's enough to make you want to run away and join the circus. At least there you know what you're signing up for. Juggling, tight ropes, and a little bit of chaos. At least the clowns are honest about being full of it. They don't pretend to be anything else. And you always know when you're watching a show. With politicians, the act never ends. America, where you can get a gun easier than you can get affordable health care. It's a system so messed up, even Dr. House would be like, nope, I'm out. Get sick in America and, well, you better hope you're rich. Medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy. It's kind of like going to a casino, except you're gambling with your life savings instead of chips. Bill's not afraid to call out this absurdity. He knows healthcare shouldn't be a luxury. It's a basic human right. But until then, we're stuck with a system where your health depends on the size of your bank account, not the severity of your illness. Speaking of things that make you sick, let's talk about Trump. Specifically, his brilliant idea to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Trump Gulf. Because hey, why not name a giant body of water after yourself? This is peak Trump, delusional, egotistical, and utterly ridiculous. It's like renaming the Grand Canyon the Trump Chasm, or the Great Wall of China the Trump Wall, but bigger. Bill uses this absurdity to highlight a bigger point. Trump's obsession with self-promotion is more than just funny. It's dangerous. When a leader cares more about their image than the country, everyone loses. Well, except maybe the comedians. Bill Burr's rant wasn't just hilarious, it was a wake-up call. He used comedy to expose the truth about wealth inequality, political hypocrisy, and a system that's failing most Americans. Laughter is a powerful tool. It can make us think, question, and even act. When we laugh at injustice, we're not just being entertained. We're shining a light on the problem. So, Keep laughing, my friends. Laugh at the absurdity of billionaires in space while people starve. Laugh at politicians who promise change but deliver more of the same. Laugh at a healthcare system that values profit over people. Because sometimes, laughter is the only way to keep from crying. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, it'll help us change things.